Asking what is the meaning of Vuvome?
Vovome, freedom.
Freedom.
No, for you're free.
You're
So it's
free.
freedom.
Let me ask somebody else to verify.
Okay,
So that
you
I
don't.
can.
If you don't trust it, you can.
You're asking your wife.
The creed of fact checking is that in God we trust. All others must bring data.
Okay. Ask your wife. We have made it simple for you.
Yeah. So now he's revising that. So there are other definitions.
No, I said we have made it simple for you. Ask your wife.
Yeah. Don't worry. I will verify.
Anyway,
Domestic consultancy.
Domestic consultancy. Sometimes I want to open that microphone for Sammy Odami.
Yeah.
Because it's always at the back end.
Yeah. Exhibiting frontline duties.
Abuchi parts. Anyway, let's get to our Drive Safe campaign brought to us by the Joy News and the Multimedia Group and supported by Toyota Ghana Company Limited, Toyota Superior Quality. Avoid all distractions, keep both eyes on the road and hands on the steering wheel, and that's how you ensure your safe arrival. So, are you looking for a used Toyota vehicle to buy?
Mudoso Papa, Minister of Health, and yeah, Papa, that's so much. Nomadi share as my menu, what bread health or Ruguso. Bofo awama bembu de me ka be koso akasa mudoso papa Minister of Health and yeah papa na so Nomadi share ajimamedu what bread health or Ruguso. Bofo awama bembu de me ka be koso akasa mudoso papa Minister of Health and yeah papa na so Nomadi share ajimamedu what bread health or Ruguso. Bofo awama bembu de me ka be koso akasa mudoso papa Minister of Health and yeah papa na so Nomadi share ajimamedu what bread health or Ruguso. Bofo awama bembu de me ka be koso akasa mudoso papa Minister of Health and yeah papa na so Nomadi share ajimamedu what bread health or Ruguso. Bofo awama bembu de me ka be koso akasa mudoso papa Minister of Health and yeah papa na so Nomadi share ajimamedu what bread health or Ruguso. Bofo awama bembu de me ka be koso akasa mudoso papa Minister of Health and yeah papa na so Nomadi share ajimamedu what bread health or Ruguso. Bofo awama bembu de me ka be koso akasa mudoso papa Minister of Health and yeah papa na so Domadishia Ajimamedu, or bread health or Luguso. Both for a woman by Mudia. The car, the Kosaka, Mudoso Papa. Minister of Health, and yeah, Papa, that's so much. Domadishia Ajimamedu, or bread health or Luguso. Both for a woman by Mudia. The car, the Kosaka, Mudoso Papa. Minister of Health, and yeah, Papa, that's so much. Domadishia Ajimamedu, or bread health or Luguso.
The Ghanaian Times is reporting this morning ID1D1F President inaugurates 16 million tomato processing factory. Efforts to stop financial infractions. We will name shame defaulters who fail to adhere to public financial management. That's called Internal Audit Agency, right? Yes. Dr. Eric Odo Elsa is the one.
That's the Director General.
Yes, brilliant. I would want to plead with him that since it's an urgent matter of national interest at heart, this matter requires expertise in public financial management to be determined. We want to know whether or not, beyond the health minister, any other person breached the public financial management. This morning, you can just take 1 hour. Since you are very competent, a lawyer with all the
And a chartered accountant.
Yes, all the competence that you can marshal this morning at your disposal, all the knowledge that you have, please give us just 5 minutes of your time and explain to us what is happening in this particular case. You'll be very impressed, or you'll not be impressed.
I'll be very impressed.
Yes, I'm counting on it. I mean, he has been doing a lot of service to mankind. I think you should add this one to it. Now, there is a story that's really dear to my heart. On page 3 of the Ghanaian Times, court slaps Sam J Hospital with 326,000 fine over medical negligence. So there is a woman who went for antenatal, and what happened is that the negligence led to a baby suffering paralysis in the right arm. So during the antenatal, there was supposed to be some basic actions done which were not done. Okay. In fact, the court believes that the hospital fell below the standards and that they acted in ways that were not in adherence to their own ethical and professional standards, which left the child handicapped for life. So throughout the engagement, a paralysis of the arm, which is due to an injury of the network of spine nerves, resulted in the child's difficulty. And all through the antenatal, the signs were there. They didn't pick it up. They didn't resolve it early enough. So the expectant mother ended up giving birth to a child in that difficult situation. I just hope that this and other stuff in the last month or so have been coming up will send a signal to health professionals that they are expected to actually perform their duties to a standard. We know they have difficulties in the performance of their duties, but they are expected to perform their duty to a standard. We hope they will live up to that particular standard because it's very, very important. If they have forgotten their rules on medical negligence or the laws of medical negligence, they surely should go brush up. I get the impression from some of these medical officials that they either deliberately ignore it or they are just not interested in following what the basic rules are. We hope that this will send a clear signal to them.
Okay. Are you done with the
Yeah.
paper? Okay, so I have the Chronicle and the big story there. Police close in on cop killer, retrieve car and vital information. I'll give you details later. Also, President commissions $16 million tomato processing factory at Brekum. And Utah calls bluff of NLC, refuses to resume lectures. I think we need to get an update on what the update of the strike or the negotiations is, because clearly it looks like they're not backing down. But let me give you details on
Sure.
this story about the police closing in on the cop killer. And we all know the story, but it says police at Nkoko in the Eastern region have retrieved the stolen private car of the deceased policewoman's boyfriend and promised a tango dance in quotes, with her murderers. The car was parked behind a heat stand to hide it from public view. In Koko Divisional Police Commander Kofi Edu, who confirmed the retrieval of the car to the Chronicle, also hinted of the level the investigations have so far traveled. But also related to this, I mean, I don't know whether it's the case that there are more, the assault of women is on the rise, or that it's being reported more. But there's this other story in the middle pages of the Chronicle. Obuasi again, a 24-year-old man kills his girlfriend who's 28 years old. And the story says a 24-year-old machine operator on Saturday night allegedly killed his 28-year-old girlfriend. Briefing the Chronicle on the incident, the Obuasi Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Joseph Nyaba, said the two lovers had been together for the past 2 years. He said on Saturday night, the suspect was said to have picked the lady's phone and after scanning through, saw Nancy having a romantic moment with another lover. The boyfriend is said to have stated that a scuffle ensued between the two over what he saw in the video, during which the man hit his woman's head against an object in the room, leading to her death.
Sad one. Let's get to the Daily Graphic this morning. Review-based calculation tease here, just tripartite committee. Sputnik V vaccine middleman to refund $2.4 million. That's how the Daily Graphic captures it. And sadly, Justice Mafusau passes away. Also on the front page of the Daily Graphic. But the big one says appointment of MMDCEs. AMA, KMA race in photo finish. And we know that Osei who's the incumbent for AMA, he's withdrawn from the race.
KMA, you mean?
KMA. But Mohamed Ajaysua, incumbent AMA boss, is still in the race. But Raymond, Article 246 of the Constitution says DCEs shall not be in office for more than 4 years. It's very clear. These persons were sworn into office in March 2017, particularly Mohamed Nia Ajaysua. So 4 years was in March this year.
Have their tenures been extended?
No,
by some,
not that I am aware of, but because they've done vetting, waiting to appoint another person. In 2015, for those who were appointed in 2011, and I remember very well the likes of the STMA MCE at the time, Captain Kujo, the Shama MCE, they stepped aside when their time was due for another MCE to be appointed. So I'm concerned. Mohamed Ajaysua, we want to know whether the president is extended. But if the president has, he's not been approved by the assembly, so he cannot hold himself as MCE. His tenure has ended. Anyway, let's get into it.
Now, the New Crusading Guide is reporting this morning informant petitions pips over police harassment in Akwatia, and President Anado lauded for appointing Prince Sefa as GIFEC CEO. The story on tomato processing factory is actually on the front page of the New Crusading Guide too. And Samuel Oku pledges open door policy, rallies NLA staff to improve revenue. And he's in a fist bump with some other officials when he went there for the first time, being shown around the place. And we hope that he would, I don't know, but can he revolutionize the National Lotteries Authority? I mean, possibly. We hope that he would actually bring some more changes to that place and make it more vibrant. The place will rein in more money for the states in ways that we have not done before in times past.
I think all state agencies. Okay, so that story about the tomato factory is also on the front page of the Daily Guide. The president opens $16 million tomato factory. And the big one, NDC stops anti-Mahama campaign. And it has a picture of Inchi Boisiako Setre. Well, let me read a bit of that story. It says the Eastern Regional Secretariat of the NDC has stopped a group of cadres of the party led by the former regional minister, Inchi Boisiako Setre, from touring constituencies in the region to campaign against former President Mahama. The party has vowed to crush any group that is seeking to prevent the former president's comeback for the 2024 presidential election. That's according to the Daily Guide.
Okay, let me get to the finder.
Very quickly, before we go, on the back page of the Daily Guide, PSG introduces Messi today after signing a £1 million a week deal. £1 million a week. Just let that sink in.
£1 million.
Pounds a week.
Wow.
£1 million a week.
A bit ye. A bit ye pa. A bit soon tea. Anyway, let's get to the finder.
Savagery of capitalism in football.
Let's get to the finder. An MPP constituency and delegates conference to be held in groups of 250. ACA AGM deal will saddle GNPC with overpriced assets. That's according to Dr. Theo Champon. Minister's mask mandate not being enforced, as well, you can see lots of people in the region not wearing masks. And 1D1F 60 million tomato factory opens to process 40,000 metric tons of fresh tomatoes. And, the GIZ was there to support the president in commissioning that, supported by the country director, Regina Barbosa. And our own Gifty Andrapia was also there, showing us everything in that particular factory. That's the finder for this morning.
Okay, now the Ghanaian Observer is reporting this morning that 1D1F, that tomato factory story is there. Brekum's transformation is the result of your leadership. This is the Brekum Amahin to the president. And also on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer is the story Oku is charging NLA staff taxes to increase revenue to support government. And the very last story on the front page is the Sputnik V. There's a very powerful picture of the minister and Sheikh Altoum. That picture is on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer. Sputnik V was saying Sheikh Altoum agrees to refund Ghana's money. And those are the stories that they have in the Ghanaian Observer today.
And very quickly, the BNFT, Business and Financial Times. TUC demands suspension of petroleum deregulation policy. Look at GMPC ACA Energy Partnership as strategic defense. That's according to the Institute of Energy Security. Also, $23.7 million lost in fishing license fees yearly as dominant Chinese interest undervalues sector. And the last one there, Lebanese arrested for operating an illegal insurance firm. Those are details in the BNFT.
Well, let's get to online news review brought to us by Zenith Bank. In your best interest, Goyle Good Energy and Enterprise Life, no matter how much you make for a living. Enterprise Life has life solutions carefully crafted for you. Enterprise Life, your advantage. And Goyle higher grade fuels have been tried, tested, proving, and accepted over the years as most suitable for all engine types, including the latest vehicles with the most modern engines. In addition to these superior qualities, Goyle higher grade fuels are further fortified with the SP3 additive multifunctional enhancer, making it more efficient, eco-friendly, and sold at no extra cost. Goyle higher grade fuels come in Goyle Super XP Run 95 and Diesel SP, sold in every Goyle station and not just selected stations. So fill up with Goyle higher grade fuels at Jibebia, Goyle Good Energy, Goyle. Yeah, team. Time now for the BBC News brought to us by Fidelity Bank, Believe With Us, and Sefi Brothers.
Hello, I am Gifty Auntie. Access to information when it comes to persons living with mental health, with regards to reproductive health and sexual rights, is very, very scanty. In fact, it's almost non-existent. We have neglected them for so long. But persons living with mental health are just like you and I. They go through the abuse, the neglect, the sexual harassment. It is about time we shift our attentions to them, because they do contract sexual infections and diseases, including HIV and AIDS. And therefore, it is about time that we make a conscious effort to make sure that persons living with mental health conditions have access to the right information. Explain to them, they're getting involved to understand some of these challenges, which are part of life.
This message is brought to you by Basic Needs Ghana and funded by Amplify Change.
This is a bank, First Atlantic Bank, a shining purple star to brighten up my day. First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different services all day long. First Atlantic Bank, and it feels so cool. I know this is where I belong. Oh, come on, everybody, this is a bank like no other. First Atlantic Bank. Follow me, let's go now. Let's go, let's bank. This is a bank like no other. Let's bank. This is a bank like no other. Let's bank. This is a bank like no other. First Atlantic Bank.
First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different.
Goyle
I nearly gave up on driving out of frustration. What hadn't I done? Purging, replacing electrical parts, changing my fuel pump, and still the engine noise in my car won't stop. Then I met this guy who said I should try Goil Fuel. By the way, my name is Thomas. I did try Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now my car is renewed. Yankonkwa!
Goil stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3 multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at no extra cost. Available at every Goil station. Ajibebia. Goil Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP. Higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. Goil, good energy. Yeah,
Explore our expanding network of remarkable destinations via Hamad International Airport in Doha. Benefit from our great offers with all-inclusive fares starting from $649. Book with guaranteed flexibility by 16th August 2021 for travel until 31st December 2021 at QatarAirways.com. Terms and conditions apply. Qatar Airways, going places together.
It's a goal! Just as you carry your favorite club, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, close to your heart, the club also brings ultimate care for you, your family, and your property through Fabu Assure. Fabu Assure, powered by Star Assurance, provides ultimate cover for your vehicle, either through comprehensive or third-party cover. Protection for your home against fire, natural disasters, or burglary under homeowners policy, and peace of mind with the travel policy. Support your champion team and also enjoy reliable insurance cover from Star Assurance through Fabu Assure. Check with your circles and sign up for a policy or call 0507 03 9891. Asante Kotoko, Kumapima, Apimbeba. Star Assurance, your solid partner.
With Tamazin Ford, we bring you the story of the Sierra Leonean teenager who used kinetic energy to power his entire village. But why is it so often down to these bright sparks to solve the planet's energy crisis? How do the world's leaders need to step up?
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Coming up after the news on the BBC World Service, it's Hard Talk with me, Stephen Sacker. Racism is the wound which has festered throughout US history. From slavery to civil rights, battles have been fought and won, but still the struggle for justice and equality continues. My guest today is Daryl Davis, a black man who over 4 decades has tried to talk to America's most die-hard racists in the Ku Klux Klan. He claims to have forged friendships with white supremacists and opened their minds. But is that of any use in the campaign to dismantle systemic racism?
What can be learned can be unlearned. People are not born racist or anti-Semitic. So if it can be learned, it can be unlearned. Now, the unlearning does not come overnight. And I'm willing to put forth the time because I believe in bettering my country.
That's Daryl Davis on Hard Talk after the news.
Hello, I'm Neil Nunes with the BBC News. A court in China has jailed a Canadian businessman for 11 years for spying. Michael Spavor ran a business in Dandong. The verdict comes a day after a death sentence was upheld for another Canadian for drug smuggling. Canada's ambassador to China, Dominic Barton, said he had spoken to Mr. Spavor after the verdict.
We had a consular visit with Michael right afterwards, and he wanted to send 3 messages. I explained that we were very fortunate to have all of the international support in the embassy in Beijing as well as here with us in Dandong, and he had 3 messages he wanted to send. 1, thank you for all your support, it means a lot to me. 2, I am in good spirits. And 3, I want to get home.
The Taliban in Afghanistan say they've taken the city of Faizabad, the capital of the northeastern province of Badakhshan. Should the gain be secured, it'll be the 9th city to have been seized by the insurgents in the past week. The BBC's Anbara Netirajan says it's left many surprised.
That's quite a very, very remarkable military advance because many people thought it would take months for the Taliban to make inroads into the cities. You know, they have captured vast countryside as the foreign forces leave the country, and the Taliban are now clearly concentrating on provincial capitals. And if you look at Pule Kumri city, which is just about 200 kilometers north of Kabul, and they are also dominating the northern region.
A BBC investigation has found evidence Russian mercenaries have been operating in support of anti-government forces in Libya in defiance of a UN ceasefire agreement. Data from a tablet computer indicates members of the Wagner mercenary organization murdered civilians and subjected others to forced labor, Nara Ibrahim reports.
It all began when we obtained a tablet left behind in Libya by a fighter with Wagner, Russia's most secretive mercenary outfit. It yielded masses of unique evidence of Wagner's role fighting against the UN-backed government. In Tripoli, along with testimony from Libyan civilians and fighters, this helped us identify some of the Russian mercenaries and link them to suspected war crimes. Their service records also highlighted the group's involvement in some of the world's biggest conflicts beyond Libya. Our findings revealed that the group is feeding intelligence to the Kremlin at a very high level.
A senior politician in Texas has signed arrest warrants for more than 50 Democratic lawmakers who walked out of the state capitol last month in order to prevent a restrictive voting bill being passed. The lawmakers fled the state for Washington in July in order to leave the assembly short of the quorum needed to pass legislation they say would make it harder for ethnic minorities to vote. World news from the BBC. Firefighters in Greece are continuing to tackle hundreds of wildfires that have been devastating many parts of the country for days. Bethany Bell reports from Arcadia in the Peloponnese.
A cloud of thick orange smoke hangs over the mountains and fields of Arcadia. Swathes of forest have been burnt. Greece's Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis is expected to chair a cabinet meeting later today. He promised to restore forests destroyed by the fires and to build up climate defences. His government is expected to announce specific relief measures for those who've lost homes, farms and property.
Hackers have stolen some $600 million in what appears to be one of the largest cryptocurrency heists ever. The blockchain site Poly Network said hackers had exploited a vulnerability in its system and taken thousands of digital tokens such as Ether. It called on the thieves to establish communication and return the hacked assets. Brazil's lower house of Congress has voted against a proposed constitutional amendment backed by President Jair Bolsonaro